Virginia's AG candidates to debate amid texting scandal. Here's what to know. Incumbent Republican Jason Mears and Democratic challenger Jay Jones will debate Thursday night at the University of Richmond. Yesterday at 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. 6 minutes. Summary. 121. Republican Attorney General Jason S. Mears, left, and his Democratic challenger Jay Jones, D. Julia Rendelman and Craig Hudson / for The Washington Post. In this article. How to watch the debate. Who are the candidates? What's at stake? What to expect from Mears? What to expect from Jones? View all. In this article. By Aaron Cox and Karina Elwood. Less than 2 weeks after leaked text messages roiled the Attorney General's race in Virginia, incumbent Republican Jason S. Mears and Democratic challenger Jay Jones will debate Thursday night at the University of Richmond. The disclosure of Jones's 2022 text messages that mused about shooting then-House Speaker Todd Gilbert and contemplated the deaths of Gilbert's 2 young children has dominated the contest for days, as Republicans called on Jones to step out of the race and some fellow Democrats put distance from Jones. Other Democrats have stood by him. Jones has apologized and said he was ashamed of the political violence he described. But he also has not publicly addressed the leaked messages since a sit-down television interview on the day the news broke. Even before the texting scandal, some donors saw Mears as Republicans' best chance to win statewide office in Virginia this fall. Democrats have led in the polls in all 3 statewide races on the ballot. How to watch the debate. Return to menu. The first and only debate in the race will be hosted by the University of Richmond in partnership with the Virginia State Bar Young Lawyers section. Follow Trump's second term. Follow. It is set to begin at 6 p.m. and will be live-streamed here but will not be televised. It will take place in a concert hall filled by a live audience. Who are the candidates? Return to menu. Jones, a former state delegate, began his career as a rising star in Virginia's Democratic Party. He was first elected to the House of Delegates in 2017 and built a reputation as a sharp debater and an advocate for environmental and civil rights issues. Skip to end of carousel. Make the most of the DMV with our newsletter. The Washington Post. Make living in D.C. a little easier and more fun. Sign up for the Post local newsletter to get local news, weather and expert advice, where to eat, where to drink and how to get around, every weekday. End of carousel. This is the second run at the top prosecutor's seat for Jones, who lost a 2021 primary to unseat Democratic incumbent Mark R. Herring. Jones won a 3rd term to the House that year but later stepped down, citing family reasons. If he wins in November, Jones would be the first African American to serve in the role. His opponent broke boundaries in 2021 by becoming Virginia's first Latino Attorney General. Mears, a former prosecutor in Virginia Beach and the son of a Cuban immigrant, won the seat in 2021 after defeating Herring, who was seeking a 3rd term. In office, Mears drew attention for creating an election integrity unit to promote stricter enforcement of voting laws. He joined numerous lawsuits fighting the Biden administration and has focused on education issues, particularly those related to culture war issues in Northern Virginia. Since President Donald Trump took office, Mears has defended the positions of the administration. AI icon. Trump endorsed Mears this month, after Jones's texts became public. What's at stake? Return to menu. Before the texting scandal hit, Jones had cast his candidacy as a bulwark and check on Trump's policies, and held a small, statistically insignificant lead in a Washington Post SHAR school poll. Mears had been pitching himself as an experienced, tough-on-crime prosecutor. Each candidate now has an opportunity to reshape the narrative of the campaign. Mears has a chance to prosecute the case that Jones's conduct should disqualify him from office. Jones has a chance to change the conversation away from political violence and pivot to the consequences of re-electing a Republican attorney general who would uphold Trump's vision for the country. Republicans have also poured cash into the race over the past few days. AI icon. A strong or poor performance by either candidate could signal to donors of both parties how much to invest in the race's final days before November 4. Virginia's off-year election had already drawn national attention, as both parties looked to the campaigns for insight into what resonates with voters ahead of the all-important midterms next year. The Attorney General's race could carry impact beyond the state's borders, as Democrats hope Virginia could become another blue state trying to block Trump priorities, including tariffs on international trade and trimming support for social relief programs. Republicans are watching to see if an emphasis on fighting crime is the better message to win voter support. What to expect from Mears? Return to menu. The debate offers Mears an extended venue to hit Jones about the texting scandal and amplify it into new lines of attack. From the moment the texting scandal broke, Republicans have used the threat of political violence to paint Jones as someone whose judgment disqualifies him for office, and the topic dominated last week's debate in the governor's race between Democrat Abigail Spanberger and Republican Winsome O. Sears. Mears has also dropped campaign ads about it and insisted he doesn't accept the apology Jones issued when the messages surfaced. Keeping Jones talking about political violence and the texting scandal prevents Mears from having to discuss the Trump presidency, abortion access, or other issues that may resonate with swing voters who are critical to victory. What to expect from Jones? Return to menu. The debate offers Jones a venue to address the texting scandal at length, and to try to move the conversation away from it. Before the scandal, Jones's campaign had built attack points about abortion access, fealty to Republicans at the expense of Virginians, and serving as a check against the Trump administration, whose U.S. DOJ service cuts had an outsized impact on Virginia. Jones has released a criminal justice plan and held roundtables on issues of public safety, and his campaign has said it believes voters are most concerned about Trump's policies affecting jobs, the economy, and access to health care. Each of those concerns could be used against Mears, who had positioned himself as one of the White House's top defenders on immigration, trimming government, and the dismantling of diversity programs in public education. How could each side claim victory? Return to menu. Ernest McGowan, an associate professor of political science at the University of Richmond, said he's watching how the text messages play in the debate, everything from who gets to bring it up first to how the moderators handle it. Success for each candidate depends in part on how they handle the scandal, he said. For Mears, it's a question of whether he will be able to successfully paint Jones as disqualified from office by leaning on the scandals that have marred Jones's campaign, which also include a reckless driving conviction. And for Jones, that means taking accountability for the text messages, reframing the conversation and regaining control of his messaging, all while underscoring Mears's loyalties to his party and Trump. Victory, though, will ultimately come from polling results after the debate. Are the stakes high enough that this will stick? McGowan said. Gregory S. Schneider contributed to this report.